guys! So today I am going to talk about why I'm having a C-section. And not that this video was requested, but so many people have asked, and a lot of you already know because you've been following my journey for a long time, and other people are new and you don't know why. So I'm just going to make this video, and anytime I reference my C-section in my other videos, I will link this video down below so you guys can be like, why is she having a C-section? Oh, look here, and click on it and be like, oh, that's why. So, for all of you that don't know, or for those of you that do but maybe want more information on it, I don't know, I'm going to be talking all about that right now. I'm just going to go and talk about my medical condition that is leading to me having to have a C-section. So I'm going to give medical background on that, and also I know a lot of you out there are nurses or you work in the medical field, so you will know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to try to put it in simple terms, at least more simple terms, so that most people can understand maybe more what's going on. And if you guys have any questions, if there's something that I don't cover well or I didn't simplify, then please just feel free to ask and I would be more than happy to answer your questions, as long as they're nice questions. Okay, so the condition that I have is called multiple epiphyseal dysplasia. And basically what that is a condition that affects my growth plates and also my joints, and it affects most of my joints that are at the end of my long bones. And if you don't know which bones in your body are considered your long bones, it would be basically your femurs, your fibia, tibia, your humerus, basically your bones that are longer than they are wide, essentially. Those are all your long bones. So the joints at the ends of those would be your ankles, your knees, your hips, your elbows, your shoulders, and there's more, but those are the main ones, at least, that are affected in me. What this condition also causes too is arthritis symptoms. It really is arthritis, but because it's associated with my disease, multiple epiphyseal dysplasia, they don't really call it arthritis, but that's what it is. It acts on my joints and it deteriorates the cushioning in your joint. So basically, I'll use my hips as an example because that is what was affected the most. So you have your ball, oh, this is your ball, and your socket joint, okay? So that's your hip. There's a layer of cushioning in there, and that protects this and this so that when you move, it goes like that and it glides wonderfully and smoothly. Well, with what I have, that cushioning disappeared. So it was no longer this nice cushioned little joint. It was nothing there, so it was bone on bone, and it would grind together, and that made my ball joint flat. So you try to put a flat thing in a socket and it doesn't do anything. You know, it doesn't move. Sorry for all the hand gestures, but I'm just trying to, you know, show you guys how it works. So when that happens, they often have to do a hip replacement surgery. So when I was probably about 12 is when my left hip pretty much completely fused together because there was no cushioning in my joint, and my bones just got too rough and it just stuck. So I used crutches for a while to deal with that pain until I stopped growing completely, and that's when they felt that it was an okay time to replace my left hip. So I had my first hip replacement done at 17, and then the other hip also bothered me, but it wasn't as bad for a while. But by the time I was 20, I needed that one done too. So I now have both of my hips replaced, and what they did for me is because in women who could potentially have children, they don't like to put all titanium hip in because sometimes they'll do a titanium socket and ball, and they worry about the metal ions that can come off from that. If you're pregnant, they haven't done enough research to see if that could affect a developing baby. So for me, I have a ceramic socket and a metal ball, and I think I actually have an x-ray on my computer, so if I do, I'm going to put that in right here. So that is what my hips look like now. Craziness, right? You know, being so young and having both my hips replaced, but hey, I can move so much better now, and it has made my life significantly better in so many ways. and so much less painful. So anyways, now, how does that play into having a C-section and whatnot? Well, I have talked to my orthopedic surgeon, and both him and my OB, they both agree that it's not really safe to try to give birth vaginally with having 2 hip replacements. And the reason for that is your pelvis and your hips have to expand as the baby is coming down and out, and that can cause your hips to dislocate. And some of you may be thinking, well, why can't you just pop it back in? It's not a big deal. It's not like a normal joint where you can pop it back in and everything's just all great and fine. I mean, obviously you're sore and you have to take it easy and let everything, tighten back up. But it's not like that with prosthetic hips. So basically, if my hips were to dislocate, one or both of them, it's a whole nother revision surgery, and the recovery time for that is anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It's almost like having a whole nother hip replacement. So with having a newborn and just giving birth, another surgery or 2 isn't something that is wise. There's no advantage to me trying to give birth naturally. And I've done a lot of research myself too, because as much as I trust my doctors, because I have amazing doctors and they both agree, I still wanted to look up my own information. And not that there is a whole lot of information, because most people who are having babies don't have their hips replaced, but from the women who have, and the information they have collected, there was upwards of 30% of people that tried to give birth vaginally with 1 hip replacement, not usually 2, that have had their hips dislocate afterwards. And that is way too high of odds for me or my doctors to want to risk that. So, as hard as it is, because I feel like I'm missing out on a whole part of pregnancy, and I know some of you are probably thinking I'm crazy for wanting to experience labor and giving birth like that, but I feel like that's the natural way, that's the normal way, that's how it's supposed to be. And I do feel like I'm missing out on that. So that is a little sad, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it because it's out of my control. And as long as I can safely bring this baby into the world in the best way that's best for him and myself, that's what I want to do. That's what we all want to do. So that is why I'm having a planned C-section. Right now that date is scheduled for March 27th because they automatically do it at 39 weeks. But obviously the closer I get to that time, if they think they need to move it up, or if I would go into labor or anything like that, obviously that date will be moved up, but it will be no later than March 27th. So that is a little background on my condition and why I have to have a C-section. So I hope you guys learned something, and even if you didn't learn something, at least you now know why we're going that route. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing great, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments below, and I would be more than happy to answer them for you. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys!